Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. Today, I'm going to talk about something really interesting that might just be sitting in your pocket or your old coin jar. It's the 1966 Washington quarter. At first glance, this coin looks just like any other quarter you'd use to buy a candy bar or feed a parking meter. But did you know that under the right conditions, a 1966 quarter could actually be worth thousands of dollars? In fact, one of these quarters was once sold for an incredible $21,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's absolutely true. So today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this coin, its history, what makes it special, the kinds of rare errors to look for, and how you might be able to tell if you have a valuable one. I'll keep it simple and easy to follow, so even if you've never collected coins before, you'll understand everything by the end of this video. Let's start with a little bit of history. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. For many years, including during World War II and after, quarters were made of 90% silver. But that changed in the mid-1960s. In 1965, because the price of silver was getting too high, the U.S. Mint decided to stop using silver in quarters. So from 1965 onward, quarters were made with a copper core and a layer of nickel on the outside. This is called a clad composition. The 1966 quarter was part of this new type of coin. That year, over 800 million quarters were made. That's a lot of coins. And because so many were made, most 1966 quarters aren't worth more than 25 cents. But, like I said earlier, there are a few that are really special and can be worth a small fortune. One thing to know is that in 1966, the mint didn't put any mint marks on quarters. That means you won't see a little P, D, or S on the coin to tell you where it was made. This was done to discourage people from hoarding coins based on mint marks, which was happening a lot in the mid-60s. So if you find a 1966 quarter and it doesn't have a mint mark, that's completely normal. But what really makes some of these coins valuable are two things: condition and errors. Let's talk about condition first. Coin collectors use a grading system to describe the condition of coins, with grades going from very worn to mint state. A coin in mint state means it's basically brand new and has never been used in everyday transactions. If your 1966 quarter looks shiny, has no scratches, and still has all the fine details, it might be in mint state condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. For example, a regular 1966 quarter in average circulated condition might only be worth 25 cents to $1. But if that same coin is graded as MS-67 or MS-68, which are very high grades, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the highest graded 1966 quarters ever sold went for $21,000 at auction. That's because it was nearly perfect, and collectors are willing to pay big money for coins that rare. Now let's talk about something even more exciting: minting errors. These are mistakes that happen during the coin-making process at the mint. Some errors are small, but others are really obvious and interesting. And the more dramatic or unusual the error, the more collectors want it. One common type of error is called a double die. This happens when the design is stamped onto the coin twice, just slightly off, so the letters or images appear doubled. If you ever see a 1966 quarter where the word Liberty or In God We Trust looks blurry or doubled, it might be a double die error. These can sell for hundreds of dollars or more depending on how clear the doubling is. Another kind of error is called an off-center strike. This is when the coin wasn't lined up properly when it was stamped, so the design appears shifted to one side, or part of the coin is blank. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin can be. Some off-center 1966 quarters have sold for $400 to $800 or more. It all depends on how dramatic the error is and what condition the coin is in. Then there are coins struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the blank metal disc that gets turned into a coin. Sometimes, the mint accidentally uses a planchet meant for another coin, like a dime or a penny, and strikes it with a quarter design. So you might end up with a 1966 quarter that's smaller than usual, has a reddish color, or is missing part of the design. These are extremely rare and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. There are also clipped planchet errors, where a part of the coin looks like it's been cut off or bitten. That's because the metal blank was improperly cut before the coin was struck. These can also be valuable if the clip is big enough and easy to see. Another cool error is called a struck-through error. This happens when something like a piece of cloth, string, or grease gets in the way when the coin is being stamped. It leaves a weird impression or mark on the coin that isn't part of the original design. These are unusual and can sell for a nice price too. There are even rumors about 1966 quarters being struck on leftover silver planchets from before the metal change in 1965. If a 1966 quarter was ever made with silver by mistake, it would be incredibly rare, maybe even worth tens of thousands or more. But so far, no official examples have been confirmed, so if you think you have one, definitely get it checked out by a professional. Speaking of professionals, if you think you have a rare 1966 quarter, the best thing to do is to get it graded by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will examine your coin, confirm if it's real, check for any errors, and give it an official grade. This not only helps you understand its true value, but it also makes it easier to sell later on because buyers trust certified coins more. Keep in mind that condition is everything. Even a small scratch or fingerprint can lower the grade of a coin and affect its value. So if you find a coin that looks valuable, handle it carefully. Hold it by the edges, don't clean it, and keep it in a safe place until you can get it looked at. You might be wondering how to sell a valuable coin if you have one. Well, you have a few options. You can take it to a local coin shop, sell it online through platforms like eBay, or use a professional auction house like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections. Auction houses are the best choice for really rare coins, especially those worth thousands of dollars. They help you reach serious collectors who are willing to pay top dollar. If your coin isn't quite that valuable, you might still be able to sell it for a little extra cash. Now I want to mention something important. Be careful about coin scams online. Sometimes people list coins on websites for crazy prices, like $50,000 for a regular 1966 quarter. That doesn't mean the coin is actually worth that much. Always look at what similar coins have actually sold for, not just what people are asking. Also, ignore weird claims about things like Q04 errors or 1 in a million coins without proof. Some of these are made up to trick buyers. Real coin errors are well documented and recognized by experts, so if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. To sum everything up, the 1966 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin, but under the right circumstances, it can be a treasure. If you have one in perfect condition or with a rare mint error, you could be holding something worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. It's all about the details. Look closely at your coins, learn what to look for, and when in doubt, ask an expert. Coin collecting is not just about money, it's about history, curiosity, and the joy of discovering something rare in the most unexpected place. Remember, each coin has its own market value, history, and design. That's what makes this hobby so exciting. So next time you get change at the store or go through an old coin jar, take a second look. You never know. You might just find a 1966 quarter worth way more than 25 cents.